Welcome to the SmackDown Preview. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by little jolly Michael Hamflett from WhatCulture to look ahead to tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. We do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review SmackDown, but also the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. We done our AW Collision pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup that we complete with a big quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Hamflett. It's weird to say this intro in English this week. To look ahead to tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. And all the fallout from Bash in Berlin.
It's not Wednesday.
No.
Which is why, if, say, for example, I know they would never do this, say, just for example, WWE.com didn't drop a single goddamn bit of copy on this edition of SmackDown until Friday afternoon, and you're thinking to yourselves, but boys, you've got a studio upstairs from your office where you work. Wait for the copy to drop it, and then get in there and record the podcast then. And I would say, good point, viewer/listener. Very well made and articulated. However, schedules are a little bit tight this week. It's not even really wacky summer, wacky fall, as you guys might say. And I'm not talking about a bump by Dean Ambrose. But for time constraints, we're having to fill this. We've sometimes done it on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Back in the days of the pandemic, we would sometimes, quite frankly, do it extremely late on a Friday.
Yeah, last thing we do.
It's like, well, they've still not added anything. It's 4 p.m.
Chips haven't arrived yet.
Yeah. For the first time ever, I think, we are doing a SmackDown preview on a Wednesday afternoon. Dynamite has been previewed, but I couldn't tell you what happened. NXT has been reviewed, and I couldn't tell you what happened. There's still so much week to go. It's such a weird feeling.
Yeah, it is strange, this.
And yet, because of Bash in Berlin, I kept saying that and it's in.
I know, I didn't want to keep correcting you, yeah.
No, you should have done. It's a failure on my part. Because of Bash in Berlin, not because of SmackDown, I'm kind of into this.
Yeah.
I think, like with Raw, when you love your fallout, there was a lot happening on that PLE, considering it was a 5-match thing, considering it was, Raw dominated realistically, but it did feel like Berlin in general, if you tack on the SmackDown as well, was eventful. This is not just fallout, Wilbourn. Stick a second bullet point on there, my friend, because it's Go Home too. It is the Go Home show to WWE SmackDown's return to USA Network. It is. Do you know what? For 4 years, 4, 5, 6, we have been ready for a good time. We've 5-ish.
Must have been.
Yeah. 29. It was, it was Kofi Kingston and Brock Lesnar. We have been.
The Rock was on it, though, wasn't he? As well.
Yeah. And Baron Corbin, you're a stupid poo-poo face or whatever.
Like, clever.
We've been sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We've had that a robot friend. Welcome us to SmackDown on Fox.
Check this out.
At the time, if you recall, the biggest rights fee deal in WWE history. Now, chump change compared to what Netflix is paying. But this is it. This is the end of the Fox era. Put you on the spot. A couple of favourite SmackDown on Fox moments, capital M. You got any?
I distinctly remember thinking, it's a shame they've done that to Kofi, but at least Cain Velasquez is here. And then I thought, wait a second, those two things aren't related. You didn't need to do that to Kofi.
Yeah.
You could have just have Brock Lesnar win a normal match and then still have Cain. And look how that Cain Velasquez thing played out.
Yeah, at least it works out with a good payoff in the end. At least the match was quality.
I'd probably go dog food. Probably go dog food and man dressed as dog in that never-ending feud.
Yeah.
Me and Andy talked in the news today, Wednesday, about how Fox soured on the relationship with SmackDown because the SmackDown years where Vince McMahon was in charge, I guarantee they'd have tried a lot harder to keep it if it had been the last couple of years, basically.
Yeah, there was the thing is, if you if I'm going to classify SmackDown on Fox as an era, and wrestling fans love eras, and I'm a wrestling fan, and I think about like a fight, so like people people consider the first period of SmackDown Live, the Tuesday night run on USA, as one of the all-time great eras of SmackDown. I would say 2016 summer of 2016 through to the early part of 2017, and when they didn't use the hard cam much and they were on the crane camera, the rise-ish of Dean Ambrose, the proper rise of AJ Styles, the kind of like surprise package of the James Ellsworth push.
That was
like,
weird, yeah.
The women's division feeling like really dynamic and alive because the rosters are split and Becky Lynch as a babyface was getting over for the first time with a woman's title. Like Shane McMahon wasn't detestable. Daniel Bryan was a good authority figure, talking smack.
Paige an authority figure around then as well. Then
No,
Shane McMahon took over.
That was later. And then after all the McMahons came out and said, "We're sorry, we suck." Shane turned up on SmackDown like, "Well, you're out of here."
I'll take it from here, thank you.
What the hell did I do?
You're doing such a great job, which is why I'll be taking it from here.
It's got to be the summer of 2022, isn't it? It's got to be the first run of the post Vince McMahon era bloodline.
Yeah.
And the weekly excitement around yet another Roman Reigns appearance that involved yet another 20-minute opening show segment and what was going to go on in all these. And Solo joined, and the Usos had very separate motivations. Sami Zayn, Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, all filling the ring. It was like, whatever they're going to do, this is going to be absolute fried gold. It's got to be that run.
With an honourable mention being that, is it Brian Styles they had, Pando
times?
And
the Thunderdome, yeah. because Performance Center SmackDown was I don't like to talk about it. I think if like Nicholas was like, this
SmackDown?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
The karaoke contest.
I also remember you and I texting regularly on a Saturday morning saying, hey, they haven't killed the Sasha Bailey thing yet.
Every week. Just pure panic. Miz and Morrison trying to drop...
Hey.
Oh, it's Miz and Morrison trying to drop slime on Braun Strowman. Oh, we got Kayla. I wonder if the website's going to pick that up. I wonder what thumbnail that's going to do well. That was terrible. Thunderdome SmackDown wasn't a great deal better, but it did allow Roman Reigns to flex his monologuing muscles for the first time. He was like, remember that like segment where he's like with the Usos and he was like, my aura is this big. The first time we saw him bullying Jay and Jimmy, that time when he called Jay Jimmy, and he's like, man, Jay, I'm bothered.
He's just the best.
See you later. Come on, Paul. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Edge getting the pop on the first night back in the building. I wish not to think of, what do you mean? That stupid old arsehole. But the six man, remember the Bloodline versus Edge, Dom and Ray, and that Edge pop. The kind of the first night of, oh God, I need this. And he was like, I'm going to do this every time. I'm going to scream for my goddamn life for a pop. And I'm going to go to both sides of the building because there's loads of people in here. And cuts to AJ. I need this. Weird time. But that summer of 2022 when everything was really clicking with the Bloodline, Roman ripping the T-shirt off, everybody popping underneath. Uzi?
Cody showing up that one week with Jay and them doing the crossing paths.
Honourable mention for one of my very favourite moments, and it will remain this. If the game Triple H is fired tomorrow or in 10 years, it will remain one of my favourite moments. And for me, a defining moment of a defining year, 2023, the night when Rhea Ripley and Paul Heyman shook hands and there was a Bloodline Judgment Day collective.
Oh my God.
And I could be wrong, but I believe it was LA Knight and John Cena.
Yeah.
All alone. And it was like, well, what are we going to do, guys? And then I think it was like Jey Uso maybe was coming up to me. And then like it all led to Cody being there. It wasn't Cena anymore, it was Cody Rhodes. And because it was all about to set up the big fight, the music stopped. But the fans just kept singing.
Yeah.
The soundtrack of the camera shaking moment was the fans singing, and Paul Heyman immediately was like, all right, Bloodline, let's just leave it. Back off. And the Judgment Day got their asses kicked. Yeah. It was like, I think they did a bad deal with the Bloodline there, guys. All the goodies are here. And yeah, I'm going to chance that the goodies are here. And it was just like, oh my God, the business is back. I never thought we would see these days again. This is the year 2000 manifest in 2023. Those were the highlights of SmackDown on Fox, none of them which had to do with Vince McMahon. He absolutely tanked this deal. And that's why they've gone back to the bosom of the USA, who were like, please can we have some wrestling? We've lost it all to Netflix. And now WWE are like, yeah, fine. SmackDown or whatever. Until 2026, do we?
Yes.
So at some point, USA is like, do you want to stay 6 more weeks? Now we're definitely leaving for Netflix. 6 more weeks. More weeks. We're going to Netflix.
Yeah.
And they just will go to Netflix.
Yeah, for us, they're all just going to be on Netflix.
USA are going to have to spend the Fed.
Some of the best cinemas already on Netflix.
Brian, A simple but incredibly hard task for you this week in the SmackDown Photoshop, if I may. Either the Netflix logo, the Fed.
Okay.
Or, doesn't need our faces on. If you want to put them on, we're complete egotists and we love them. And I did see Well Fed on Wednesday. Thank you for bringing that back. Or, if you are of the animatory type, let me give you clean audio. The Fed. Over
Our faces flashing up on the Netflix logo.
Just do nothing if you want. Live your life. Don't listen to my nonsense. Live your life because you live a pretty great one doing more than you share for us. One day I want you to come to a live show. We've been talking about that again in the office. The cow's not coming. It's
more on that soon.
The tour never stops. Or does it?
Speaking of fallout from Bash in Berlin, though, what's next for Cody Rhodes? I will mention that tonight on the show, one of the few matches that I know is going to happen is the Bloodline, all of them. Mm-hmm. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tamatonga and Tongaloa versus the Street Profits and DIY. Understandable, by the way, the Bloodline weren't on last week's SmackDown. A, because they were in Berlin. They weren't on the whole thing. But the funeral to go to, obviously, as well.
Yep.
That's why they went there and they just filmed that segment where Solo did say, whoever wins, I've got next. You just had last. But there's another person who did wrestle in a title match at Bash in Berlin who might have something to say about all that.
He might, but I'm going to try and fantasy book because reality booking Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes 2 is no fun. So I'm going to fantasy book
enjoyed
instead.
It.
I love you and somehow don't get you sometimes. They're going to have that match again. I don't want Cody Rhodes to find himself on the Bad Blood undercard against Solo Sikoa because you can assume that Punk and Drew will headline in Hell in a Cell.
Unless they announce it for next week, of course.
And that's the fantasy booking.
And who else could come back on that show?
Indeed, right?
I'm going to pull something.
Yeah. Roman and Solo, the rematch, Roman Solo 2, for the debut SmackDown on USA. It's stacking them up month because we're going to have it on the CW NXTs. We're going to have it on SmackDown. We're going to have it we're going to have it soon in January when WWE moves to Netflix. It's stacking them up season. So yeah, Roman Solo 2 will be announced, I believe, on tonight's SmackDown because Roman heard Roman Solo 2, Cody Solo 2, because Cody heard what Solo was saying and he says, well, I won and I think he deserved a shot. I gave my friend Kevin Owens a shot because I believed he deserved one. I don't just give out title shots, but I accept that the Bloodline have gold. I accept that they're going to retain these tag belts, by the way. There's nothing more to add on that. You've retained your tag belts. You are champions. Mm-hmm. I would not be who I am without honouring my role as a champion. Solo, I'm going to give you a lesson in what it means to be a leader, and I will defeat you next week. So he's like, Cody Rhodes, yet again, dishing out a title shot to maybe a guy who some would suggest might not deserve it. Where could that lead? So you have that match on the first SmackDown on USA. As you point out, like Bloodline get involved. Roman makes his return. Like SummerSlam, kind of deals with the Bloodline in order to make space for Cody to get the win. And you yet again do more like, that's twice now. Codes. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So that you leave that there as drama because you're building towards the Bloodline versus the Good Line, all that sort of stuff. But then Cody Rhodes has offered one out to Kevin, offered one out to Solo. 2 weeks later, it's in my head. Right, my turn. What?
You've just lost a title match.
What? So yeah, that's where this is headed, I think.
Hang on, wait a second. Just let me try and work this out. Bad Blood 2024. I'm trying to work this out with the NXT schedule as well.
When's Bad Blood?
It'll be the week after Bad Blood. The Tuesday after Bad Blood would be when Randy Orton would be showing up on NXT if you do that. So if you do Randy, Cody, and that's a relatively quick turnaround. I lost to Gunther.
Wait there.
I lost to Cody.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think it's the Punker episode of NXT that goes head-to-head with AEW. I think it's the St. Louis one with Randy Orton on.
Possibly.
I think. Imagine if they booked Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for the WWE title on the St. Louis edition of NXT.
Yeah, October 8th it is.
Imagine, like Cody has been on this Tuesday Night War thing before, and it's like, title match? Well, anything else on the telly? Not that I can see. Title match, though. World title, tune in, why don't you? You could see it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Keep it off Bad Blood. We need you for Tuesday night. Big show. St. Louis. Randy Orton's home away from home.
Trick wins the world title on the October 1st one. Says, I'm going to be a fighting champion. I'll offer an open challenge out on next week's show.
Also great.
And Cody's like, I'm not having this. I'll be the special guest referee, baby.
We've done it. Perfect.
We can get rid of those previews as well. That's done. Getting loads of work done in advance.
Yep. What's next?
Well, let's talk about that match. Bloodline versus Street Profits and DIY, an 8-man. Is this the moment where Street Profits maybe or DIY split? I don't know. What's going on here?
The Bloodline win, so yes, probably. Maybe you do the sort of trademark wrestling miscommunication. DIY have had their aces kicked by the Bloodline a bit more than the Street Profits. So let's say it's one of them that is involved in the miscue, like Gargano or something. And the Street Profits are just pissed off with them. I don't really want to say the words Street Profits heel turn because I'm sick of hearing them.
Yeah.
When a half-baked attempt at it failed. But they are on a losing streak. So it's quite difficult to turn them round as winners on a miscommunicating loser team. So they do lose. There will be miscommunication. There will be a foo-ed. But I think the fans will decide who the baby faces are. Those reactions for DIY are most weeks kind of anemic. They get the odd week where they're hot, but a lot of the time, it's just, I'm not sure the fans are massively. I don't know if it's partly to do with that frigging theme.
We are.
Yeah.
I have it on double speed sometimes, and it even sounds slow on that.
Yeah.
We are DIY. And I'm like, okay.
And when I hear that we are, I'd rather sing AJ Styles TNA one. I am. That one.
I always sing BN. Do, 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 do. We are. Do, 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 do.
A little chomper.
We are. DIY. That doesn't work.
Johnny Gargano.
I've got a lot of affinity with that BN mascot for some reason. I got something about that guy. Has he got a name? Ben?
It probably is Ben.
BN.
Is the BN mascot the perfect amalgamation of our faces? Because he's got your way, but he's also perfect square.
That's his face, look.
That is us. That's us.
He's French.
A second biscuit.
Très bien, monsieur.
Is bien? Is that what it's supposed to be? As in good? Bien.
Biscuiterie Nantes.
I love biens.
Bien.
There's a
mini biens. What's this?
You ever had I think it's the Aldi version. Pick up.
Yeah.
It's just like a long biscuit with 2 biscuits with chocolate in the middle. Okay, that's military man.
BN mascot.
Right, yeah. The Bloodline are beating the babyfaces. The babyfaces there's going to be dissension. There's going to be a match. What else is on this card?
Who's this? Who's Perry? Oh, it's Perry from. Why has that come up? The Birmingham Commonwealth Games. I've got one of them. Perry Bar. BN mascot.
Biscuit.
It's not having this.
BN biscuit.
BN biscuit mascot.
Sorry, everybody. There he is.
There he is.
Whoa, look at this cool customer. Jammy Dodger.
AI version. I don't like it. It feels weird.
Wait a second. What's that about? What do we think that's supposed to be?
That looks like a cock made out of biscuits. If anyone knows the BNBM biscuit mascot's name.
It's a new SmackDown mascot.
There he is. Ian Napier.
He invented BN. He looks like
he's garling.
I bet he drinks Carling Black Label.
Someone has to.
Do you know Madry is rebadged Carling?
Yeah.
Wild, isn't it? I couldn't do a Pepsi challenge with lager. I don't really get it, but impressive marketing on the Madry lads.
Just started reading about mini BNs.
Why would you want to make BNs smaller? I don't get that. If anything, you should make snacks bigger.
Yeah. But we talked about heel turn there.
From the BN mascot.
Is there any scenario, because I want to talk about this because they alluded to it yet again on last week's show, where
it's Jay Frazier that's got, I think it's Jay, sorry if it's not Jay, got the tangents thing that he's kind of got blurred at the moment.
Oh, yes,
BN,
I'm excited to see that.
The BN biscuit has just marched into shot, elbow in Brum and Ant Deck out the way.
Out of the way, yo. Is there any way Austin Theory can be a babyface.
Nope. But
Not for you.
But it's happening. Thing he was doing is Grayson Waller was doing. What we call each other, mate? Benta.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Benta. Cricket. No, but they're going to give it a try. And what have I been saying a lot lately? When you hot, try everything.
Mm-hmm.
In 6 weeks, we could be talking about Austin Theory as getting the loudest reactions on SmackDown outside of Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, because that's WWE in 2024. You've got to commit to the bit. That's what I will say. At the moment, the split feels protracted. The split feels like Austin Theory is not watching the show because he would see what we can all see, which is that Grayson Waller's been just kind of using him for yonks now. So whilst I think it will take a long time for me to particularly gravitate to Austin Theory, and I dare say a lot of people would agree, with the right turn, with the right look, tweaks to make him look like a bit less like an asshole, he stands a chance. Do you know whose turn I would compare him to in terms of how well this could go?
Who's this?
I would say, because of how hot WWE is, an Austin Theory babyface turn on a Grayson Waller would be a surprising hit in the way that Alex Riley's on The Miz would. Remember how over Alex Riley was when he turned on The Miz? Those reactions.
Yes.
And it was like, I thought that like college jock character was going to be a heel, and yet they've made him a babyface. And it did get over, and then obviously, apparently John Cena didn't like that, and there was all sorts of politics. But you're not going to get that, I don't think, in this WWE. So we will see. We could have, a Jey Uso type figure in our midst with Austin Theory. I can't see it. Austin's got a theory. Crowd goes nuts.
There's something there. I do think he's a brilliant arsehole, obviously, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just hoping more than expecting, but
it's just everyone gets overdoing everything at the moment.
Yeah.
It's the best possible time to turn Austin Theory babyface because it stands a chance, if nothing else,
and especially with Grayson Waller to bounce off into.
You get over once and you're kind of over forever. So if Austin Theory just finally gets over as something, he's good. He's good to go for life.
Sorry, just reading a bit more about the BN. I think it's called BN.
As in BN?
Because that one says, awesome tips from Professor BN. He's got some glasses on.
Because he's a smart guy.
And
he's a smart cookie.
I know what you think. Good. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but it's a biscuit that's been around since 1896, or the business has anyway. Yeah. Hamflett. How do you attract, the cool younger kids? How do you slay? How do you serve biscuit to the new generation? Too stylish. So tell us what we're looking at here.
We're looking at a BN biscuit, not filled with chocolate, but instead filled with fraise.
Strawberries.
Thank you. Wearing, check this out. I know what you're thinking. Snapbacks are pretty cool. Well, they're even cooler when you wear them at a jaunty angle on the corner of your perfectly square head. Ain't that right, Rafone? That is basically BN as a WWE microphone.
What the hell is this, by the way?
What is that?
BN Sensation. Why don't they have these?
Ice cream?
I don't know.
Frozen yogurt, perhaps?
No, not frozen. More mature sweet lovers, which, hello?
Sounds like something you would search on
a very long stick for endless pleasure.
Move on. Don't put that in the tangents bit. Stick with the biscuits. Actually, I say that when it comes to intimate relations too. Stick with the biscuits.
Check out my cat. It's been a long day or something, probably. Bailey's back. Bailey returned on last week's SmackDown to prevent what appeared to be potentially doing his dead end cash in. Although I do like the fact that's going to be developed presumably on tonight's show, where Nia's going to be like, Queen Nia is going to be like, were you going to cash in on me during that god-awful street fight I had with Meechin last week? No, I was just out there to distract you, and obviously you retained, so it all worked. But Bailey's back, Hamflett. Your thoughts?
Massively over it.
It's a great pop. German crowd, awesome. I've said this before. But yeah, are you happy to see her back? It's good for Bad Blood, that, isn't it? A rematch with the Queen.
Yeah. Yeah, she was great last week. The match was not.
No.
But the finish was the bin's eye drop.
Oh, yeah. Hang on, sorry.
Oh, my God.
She put the pin in her head. Killed her.
Tiffany was great. Did you see that when she jumped the barrier, she got caught on a wire and she's running away from Bailey and she tweeted out Tiffy trips.
That's good stuff. The first cash-in tease.
Yeah.
It's a success. It's a working.
It's good, isn't it? Like the fact she can actually say, no. I just thought Michin was gonna, because they were both laid out, weren't they? She was like, "Let's get out there."
The reaction speaks for itself. The crowd loved it. I can't look. Yeah. And they can't do it every week, so you can't expect one of these all the time.
Next one at Bad Blood.
Well, the next one, realistically, in Nia Jax's next title match, because there would be there's not no cause for her to do it after a beatdown, but a match is at least sort of like the referee's already there and she can do the plausible deniability bit of, no, this is just referee your match. I would have never have asked them to make it a 3-way or whatever.
Do the Queen thing of like, you have to beat the princess first. She has to beat Tiffany to earn a title shot. She does that. And I do think Tiffany Stratton would be someone who'd look really funny in a shark cage hanging above the ring. Because you got a lot of...
You love a shark cage, don't you?
Well, I don't know what actually, because they're going to have a cell up there already, aren't they? So would that work?
They just bring the cell down, put a cage on top. You can walk about wherever you want the roof, but we won't let you down.
But you have to step up a rematch, wouldn't you?
Do you know what I would love? Right, if it wasn't a maybe not a Hell in a Cell, so you keep it on for television or whenever. You do the Tiffany Stratton in a shark cage, but because it's the Queen, she's been able to pull a bit of rank, and Tiffany Stratton is basically able to deck the shark cage out however she wants. So like pink bars.
Oh
my God.
Picture of her Queen hanging up on the wall, a hook for her to hang her Money in the Bank briefcase.
Like a really fancy chair in there.
Yeah, like just the nicest time in the shark cage. And we're just like, oh God, as if. Even when she's up there, it's like, it's good to be Tiffany. And then like Bailey does something crazy to Nia, but the referee gets knocked down and the commentators are screaming like, Nia's not moving. We've never seen her suffer this before. And like Tiffany's super comfy and like sort of looking down going,
Partly brings out a load golden key.
Yes, huge one, like a key to the city, opens the door, she's like, lower me down, and then like Nia wakes up. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be... No, Nia starts waking up, Tiffany gets back in the thing, set me up.
Nia wakes up, the shark cage is on top of her.
Yeah.
How's this happen?
Like Mankind pinning the rock with a forklift, yeah. Oh, we've done that.
I'm so happy to see Bailey back there.
Yeah.
And it worked perfectly there for the best reaction, because I think it was fair to say that towards the end of her reign, people were becoming more indifferent than when obviously she was rapturously cheered in winning the title at Mania.
Do you know what the cool thing about her making a run-in was as well? Is that they only had the opportunity to play one intro instead of 17 that is the normal music.
If the music back. If I want to challenge you one last time, Nia, and if I lose, I have to change everything about me, including my music. Come on, Nia, let's go.
Yeah.
One final thing to talk about, and it's the thing I'm arguably most excited about on this show, and I sense you will be as well. As much as we're looking forward to, what's next for Cody, all the fallout from Bash in Berlin, a Bloodline Street Profits DIY match. Tonight, when this goes out, is the debut of one Giovanni Vinci on SmackDown. We speculated as to whether he was going to be the person to challenge LA Knight.
Yeah.
That was, of course, Ludwig Kaiser, which worked brilliantly as well.
Yeah.
Just a great weekend in Berlin. But Vinci debuts tonight. Vinci. It's going to be so enjoyable to see him do that entrance if we get the same one from NXT as well. Who's he face?
I think he faces Baron Corbin.
I thought the exact same thing.
I think that they're like him and Apollo Crews are trying but failing to get going. So you can kind of sneak in a couple more losses before you take the next, whatever the step is. Do they start winning? Do they split? Do they whatever? But you got a little while longer yet. So Baron Corbin is the man. Baron Corbin loses, Giovanni Vinci is off to the races, but you also have Giovanni Vinci do his entrance, come out as just the most handsome guy there is, and just say something along the lines of, you hideously ugly freak, you are giving bald hunks like me a bad name.
Oh, yeah.
And
Hair versus hair match.
And Corbin
No hair versus no hair match.
fires up, kicks his ass a bit, but Giovanni
Loser
Vinci.
has to get hair plugs.
Yes. And it's like Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews. And then instead of matching gear, they've got matching hair plugs.
And then you get to see him go to Turkey.
Just quickly on this one. If ever, and I mean ever, the people, and I include myself and him and Sige and Microphone and Nicholas will never need this. If you ever see any of us disappear for a period of time or shave our heads, ask questions. Because I've seen this from a few prominent figures lately on the old TV screen. Maybe on the old internet screen. And there's a cow again. And it's weird how, when the hair comes back, like me after this podcast, it's thicker than ever.
So I'm desperately trying to find out where they are for tonight's show. Somewhere nice, I'm sure.
I don't doubt it. 10,000 plus, baby.
Yeah. But if not Baron Corbin, I mean, the answer is Rick Martel. But if not Baron Corbin or Rick Martel...
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game!
Who should Giovanni Vinci debut against on SmackDown tonight? Usual rules apply. I have the WWE alumni page, better to beat a legend. You get three times.
No. Gonna miss my train.
Okay, yeah.
One and done.
One and done, unless, of course, it's...
Yeah. Stop.
Okay. Give me a number between 1 and 8.
6.
I'm just going to turn this around. You could tell the people who gorgeous Giovanni Vinci is going to... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay?
6, I said, didn't I?
You said 6, yeah, you said 6. You said 6, just to tell the people who Giovanni Vinci is going to be facing tonight. Exclusively going to reveal this on a show where, of course, we're going to see all the fallout from Bash and Berlin, Cody Rhodes responding to Solo's challenge, Bayley's back, Bloodline versus Street Profits and DIY, and on SmackDown, GM's name I can't remember, we've got...
the SmackDown Preview. It's got all this, Giovanni Vinci versus the Gobbledygooker, and so much more.
Bye.